Y is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
So is that what you wear to the farmer's market?
It is when you go to cycle bar and then you don't have time to come home and shower and you don't have your hair looks like crap, so you have to borrow a baseball hat.
I see. Uh, what? Don't take this the wrong way, but what exactly do you buy at a farmer's market? And
I
I mean,
actually,
I mean you and
you mean me,
specifically,
right?
right?
No, I actually love the farmer's market, believe it or not.
Because you wear a straw hat and
I
you
don't have a straw hat,
you
but I
probably
wish
carry like a recyclable bag of something.
usually I do,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Well, today I bought,
Captain must go with you.
Captain went with me in
Okay.
his
Yeah.
baby Bjorn.
Yep. Exactly. Wait. What? I'm sorry.
He
You
has
were
an,
wearing him?
yeah, he has an outward hound dog version of a baby Bjorn.
I see. And he's okay with this.
Of course,
Okay.
he gets
Just
to be
checking.
close to me.
Right. No, but what do you buy at a farmer's market, if
I
not
bought,
food?
I did buy food, but I also bought some
Somebody to
new,
come over and make it.
right. That's what I
Yeah,
would really
okay.
like to. If
Right,
they
yeah.
sold that at the farmer's market, I'd be so happy.
Right.
I bought some more CBD products from Cassie from the Wellness Collection.
Right,
So
okay.
that was awesome. I bought asparagus and butter lettuce and spring mix,
Okay.
olive oil. I'm big on sauces. I'm a very saucy
Okay.
person.
Shocking. How do you feel about ruse?
Well, if you make me one,
Well, because I'm just saying, like, it's in the
or
sauce family.
is this a ruse? What kind of ruse are we
Right.
talking about?
Fair. Reductions, fan, pro?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I'm a fan of anything as long as it's made for me.
I see. And that's therein lies the,
Well, it does lie the
yeah.
problem. But I
Okay.
do have
Gotcha.
my indoor grill and I've gotten pretty good at the grilled chicken.
Okay. Indoor grill, like, is that a fancy way to say George Foreman?
It is not a George Foreman.
Okay. Because that one, the grease just slides right down because it's on
I
an incline.
know.
Right. No.
I used to have one of those, but it wasn't very good.
It did. It was the weight. That was my problem.
Yeah, that was my problem too.
Squeeze.
This is Why, with your hosts, Heidi Hedquist and Luke Poling.
And they had lots of cheeses. I can't believe neither Rachel or I bought cheese.
Mm, true. Local cheese.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Um, some sort of smithy. Was there a
There was a
booth?
smithy. There
There we
were
go.
people,
There it
there
is.
were people coming in carrying blocks of knives.
Mm, always the case.
Yeah, but we didn't do that.
No. Okay. No, I was just wondering. I was very confused by.
But I'd love to like bring a samurai sword in and ask them
Oh my
to,
God, that'd be amazing.
right?
Or
To
just a
sharpen it
machete.
up. A
Just be standing
machete.
in. Yeah.
It just look very creepy. It'd just be like, what?
Yeah, guys, come on. Just
Right?
sharpen it. Do or don't. Let's move on here.
Right.
Um, I wanted to ask you about this. My first thought was to talk about the guy who spent 50,000. I'm sorry, $15,000 for rough collie dress up. But we're not going to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
We're not going to talk about the woman whose 22-pound breasts got her kicked off an airline, so she
Wow.
claims.
Were they each 22 pounds or
I
one?
believe collectively.
Okay.
Um, the
Each one
airline
weighs more
says
than Captain.
what the airline said. Well, no, your knockers were prominently displayed, and it was inappropriate for a flight.
Wait, did they call them knockers?
I wish they did. That would have
That'd
been
be
amazing.
awesome.
No, it's I don't know if you've seen this. The Elvis impersonator crackdown.
No.
So the Elvis Presley estate has sent, I guess in particular, Las Vegas Elvis's performing weddings a cease and desist, saying they do
Why?
not have access to the copyright.
Wait, I can't imagine Lisa Marie would be doing this.
Yeah, they so the chapels named in the cease and desist were the Viva Las Vegas slash Vegas weddings, the Elvis
That's where
Chapel.
I've been to two weddings there, and Jamie and Nelson renewed their vows there with Elvis.
Of
It's my
course.
favorite wedding chapel.
The Elvis Chapel, Elvis Weddings, and Las Vegas Elvis Chapel all have, uh, been told to knock it off.
Well, Did Quentin Tarantino get listed because he was the Elvis impersonator in the Golden Girls?
He doesn't. And wasn't Val Kilmer Elvis in True Romance, I
Yes.
believe?
And what about Nicolas Cage?
Well, he's probably got his own drive-through wedding thing here.
I hope he does.
Um, so
Somebody
yeah,
better go after Val Kilmer. I'll kill them.
yeah, because this the even the county is worried that it's going to affect people's livelihoods, and then it's going to affect businesses, and because I mean that was what, five different businesses?
Right. Like, but again, like, why now? I mean, this has been
Right,
happening for decades.
right. I don't know. They don't really say. I guess the
And seriously,
Elvis people are not.
well, who are these Elvis people?
No, it just sort of seems like I know there's a statute of limitations as far as the exploitation of somebody's likeness and everything else. We've got to be getting close to that, right? It's almost been 50 years since he moved to the great green room in the sky.
Yeah. Thank
And
you
is
for
there somebody
reminding us
else?
of how old we are, by
I
the
know,
way.
but is there someone else who could then kind of step up and become that king-like persona? You know what I'm saying?
Like, instead of having Elvis marry you, who are you going to
Right,
marry you
right,
instead?
right. I mean, I will grant you getting married by the Big Bopper is not really the same thing.
No. Who would be the one?
I don't know. Because I would assume, again, this is probably a stupid assumption, but perhaps, your Day the Music Died crew would possibly be able to legally oversee your wedding
I know, but
vows.
doesn't that feel even more sad? Because it is the day the music
It
died.
is
So,
the, right,
well, congratulations, you got married, which clearly the music has died now.
right, yeah.
Like, it's a lot easier to be like,
But doesn't
we'll
that
keep
have to
each
be,
other's
doesn't,
teddy bear,
right, but doesn't the
love
Day
each
the
other
Music Died,
tender.
what if the levee just never runs dry?
Well, true. With the
If
good
your
old boys
Chevy
who
and your
drink.
levee
Well,
are
right. Are
in
they
complete
only
working order,
are they only going to serve whiskey and rye?
they should.
That's
Or
true.
maybe you shouldn't. That should be the one thing that's not available.
And the bachelorette party would just be like, bye bye, Miss American Pie.
Right. Because that's, I mean, it's such a great song.
Well, weren't we supposed to talk to him?
If he had the time.
He hasn't
But
had the
this was
time
around the
yet.
same time Don said that he's done with autographs or he's done with selfies or he's done with
Oh,
something
he's
where
done,
it's very
which means
much
he's done with us.
he's very much going to break down his money making options into as many different tiers as possible.
He's going to diversify.
Exactly. I don't know. There's got to be somebody else they could go to. Your Mr. Eds. Oh, here we go. Is he still alive, Bob Denver?
No,
Okay.
nor is
Gilligan.
John.
Right, yes.
None of the great Denvers are around anymore.
Right. Well, the Nuggets. But anyway, I think
Omelets.
Gilligan.
A Gilligan's Island wedding would be amazing,
Do you take blank to be your little buddy for life?
right? And then if someone like called it off, they'd be like, "Oh, it's Wrong Way Johnson."
Take the hat off and be. It's
Yes,
Skipper and Gilligan. Skipper, Gilligan's always your best man / bridesmaid, maid of honor.
true. Yes,
Skipper does the wedding, and then I guess they just beat you with their hats at the end of it to say congratulations.
true. Or what if it was like almost like a bachelor situation, and you get to choose between your brides, and it's like, do you take Ginger or Marianne?
There you go. Yes. All right. Well, that's solved.
It's perfect.
Do
That's
you
our
take
next venture.
Do you take so and so to be your lovey,
And it's
your?
like a 3 hour thing, reception, ceremony, everything, in and
There
out
you
in three
go.
hours.
And I don't want to speak for him, but I feel like Sherwood Schwartz would be down with this. You guys are up against it right now, right? With you're what, 2 weeks away from the
Yeah,
race?
less than 2 weeks. It's all getting exciting now.
How does one prepare for a bed race?
Uh, For the teams, they start training usually in January, running the majority of the course, and then we see in May through to probably next weekend them running with their bed and then practicing the river crossing.
What about you? I mean, you've got to be swamped with stuff.
My job is really a huge amount of administration, completing all the health and safety documentation and the application to use public land and all sorts of things. We seem to get some new requirements every year, so and then dealing with PR companies, local media, yourselves, which is novel.
Yeah.
We did have a TV program hoping to visit us this year, but they've not been able to get their act together. So hopefully we'll have them on next year, which is a children's TV program called Blue Peter.
I know Blue Peter.
They've visited many times and have run in the race. We've actually taken 3 of our beds down to the old TV centre in Shepherd's Bush and run around the circular area that they lovingly used to refer to as the donut, arriving in the studio just as the world famous theme tune came on. So that was a great experience for everybody. Got a Blue Peter badge for that.
Oh,
awesome.
There you go.
That's a big deal.
It is. It's a massive deal.
Yes, it is.
No, the race has been going since 1966. Is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Has the kind of, not novelty, but the oddness of some of your requests worn off on the locals?
No. There is one element of the race that we do get comments about every year. There's an old street. Knaresborough is an ancient market town, and there's a street known as Waterbag Bank that leads down to the river, and it's a cobbled street. And they used to have a lot of fun including that as part of the race. It was narrow and slippery.
Painful.
And we can't cover that in the risk assessment insurance these days, especially as the last time that they included it in the course, they took out a policeman.
Oh no. Yeah.
So, we have to let that one go.
Yeah, I could see that.
The older guys, not even all the older people, but people that have seen it on cine footage and stuff, say, when are you going to bring back Waterbag Bank?
Of course.
Well, sorry, we're just not.
Is there anything comparable you've added as far as like in a different way that perhaps was more coverable or insurable?
No, what we've done is we've just extended the course down the high street a little bit longer. We still have the one of the issues with Waterbag Bank was the teams starting the race and the teams coming down there cross over each other.
Oh.
So we've made that crossover on a wider and more manageable part of the course without the team. Well, the team that are just about to finish are going at full pelt downhill. So we hold back the teams that are just starting if we need to. So, yeah, that's kind of mitigation of what is actually quite a dangerous part of the course.
Yeah.
And the rest of it remains pretty well as it was in 1966. We've brought part of the course in towards the centre of the town, but it increases the gradient of one of the hills. So we now run up Castle Ings Road instead of the main street, Gracious Street. So that changed. That changed probably in the 80s. So we try not to tinker with it too much. We try to maintain the spectacle of the event and the interest of running up to the castle, whizzing around the marketplace and swimming across the river, which everybody loves.
The integrity, we get it. Yeah,
completely.
Now, I feel like we've kind of we skipped over the most important question. Why the hell are people running around this town with beds?
Don't ask me.
Okay, perfect. Excellent.
In 1966, Knaresborough Round Table Club decided it would be a great fundraising idea to get 4 hospital beds, stick the local winning beauty queens, so we had Miss Knaresborough and Miss neighbouring places, sat on beds, genuine old-fashioned hospital beds, being pushed around the town in fancy dress, raising money for charity. The 3 teams were from the British Army, Air Force and Navy with the US Marines, because we have a local US Marine base nearby. So naturally, they were a bit competitive. So instead of
I could see that.
sauntering around the town, they raced each other. And the event was born, and it grew in popularity in the 70s. It was a huge event in the 70s. Then it kind of dwindled a bit into the 90s, and then some things happened locally that reinvigorated the event, which is a long and boring story, so we won't go into it. But we had to increase the field from 60 to 90 to accommodate the additional demand. And 90 is physically the maximum number we can cope with.
60 to 90 teams or people?
90 teams,
Wow.
630 people pushing or on the beds. The castle grounds where we start in the morning assembling for the parade physically can't take any more than that. The race area we've got probably couldn't take much more than that. And the timing of the event, it's a time trial, but we set the teams off now at 10-second intervals, trying to get them up, the last bed off the course by 4 o'clock.
Wow.
The race starting at 3 o'clock. So we try to get them off the main roads within the hour so that we can start clearing up and reopen what is a major road.
Sure. Well, and the of course I always go to like the best, costumed bed. That winner is chosen prior to the parade, right? So you may already be a winner looks wise before you even race.
And that winner is moved to the front of the parade with a big banner telling everybody that they're the best dressed bed.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's judged at between 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock. That judging is done, and then there's a big announcement up in the castle area. And as I say, they lead the parade beds wise. We have a pipe band, bagpipes in front of them to tell everybody we're coming. Why not?
Right? Absolutely.
We've got one nearby in York, so they love to come over and lead our parade. So yeah, it's great.
So how long have you been involved in this ridiculousness? And I mean that in the best possible way.
The greatest compliment.
That's easy. I'm wearing my Lions badge, and that's got my 20-year chevron on it, which means I've been in the club 20 years. Therefore, I've been involved with the bed race for 20 years.
And I don't presume that you are the know-all and be-all of costume judging, but what have been some of your favorite costumes you have seen in the past? Because I'm assuming there's themes and there's phases that people go through, or is it just fancy dress?
Every year we have a theme. Okay, so this year it's the environment, reduce, reuse, recycle, but we've also told the teams that because it's the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, if they want to dress up in celebration of the Jubilee, that's fine, especially if they reuse their stuff from one of the previous Jubilees. So, yeah, there's one recurring theme. I don't know whether it's a highlight or not, is that a lot of the local guys take it as an excuse for a bit of cross-dressing. So we'll have a lot of hairy men in fishnet stockings.
Perfect.
As one would.
As one would. And that's perfect.
So that's a recurring theme. The ingenuity and the skill that the teams put into the decoration of their bed and the costumes to go with it. Each year it astounds me. You go, how are you going to beat this year? And then the next year comes along and go, wow, just look at that. So incredible skill. About 10 years ago, the theme was music, I think it was. And the local architect built a bed that was basically the dog from the HMV record label.
Yes.
So the dog and the speaker.
Wow.
And that was donated to the Hearing Dogs charity.
Aw.
So that was taken away on a trailer. 5 years later, it came back to be refurbished because it had been sat out in all weathers for 5 years.
Yes.
So it's really bizarre to see that coming back through the town on a trailer, not on bed race day. Everybody going, wow, what's that doing here?
Why are you back?
These things have another life. One of the local pubs, the Half Moon, down at Low Bridge, as we call it, the downstream bridge of the town, they always put their decoration up on the roof of the pub.
Perfect.
So we've had Thunderbird 1 and TARDIS and goodness knows what else on the roof of this pub. So as you come down the hill from the town centre towards the river, you kind of turn a blind bend and then this bizarre object on the roof of the pub. Anybody that doesn't know about bed race must wonder what on earth is going on.
And you mentioned that this year is kind of coinciding with the Queen's Jubilee.
Yeah.
Have you invited Her Majesty? Has she expressed interest in attending?
Her Majesty has gone to Balmoral, I believe.
Okay, so no is the short answer?
No, it is a tradition that we send the Queen greetings for her birthday. Her official birthday is quite often coincides the trooping of the colour. So that's June. I think it's the nearest Saturday. It's June the 6th. Is trooping of the colour. So we do send her greetings, and we usually get a nice letter back from one of our equerries.
Do you expect to see this year a rise in people, let's use the word honoring, the royal family or the matriarch of the royal family this year, do you think?
The whole town has gone completely Jubilee already.
Mm.
There are flags, there's bunting. We have a group of people called the Knaresborough Yarn Massive, and they've knitted, the sorts of things that people used to put over loo rolls to cover them up. Do you have that?
Yes, we do.
Well, they've done that, but on a bigger scale. So in other areas, they've knitted toppers for the post boxes. We've got these plastic parking bollards, and each one of them has got a different character on, depicting something to do with the Queen or royalty or the Jubilee. If you have a rummage for Knaresborough on Facebook, the images have been posted.
I feel like we need to live there regardless. I feel like the town is like all in, whether it's the beds or the Jubilee, whatever it is, they're 100% committed. I love that.
Absolutely. It's an amazing place to live. It is so engaged in stuff, and not just the promotion of the town, but having fun. We've got a great live music scene. We've got a great local arts festival called Fever, F-A-V-A. The Yarn Massive did something for that last year as well, which was really great to see. Just coming out of lockdown, and the town goes completely pink because that's Fever's theme colour. And all of these characters appeared on all the parking bollards. It's fantastic. So you never know what's going to happen next in the town.
That's awesome.
When you say that everyone...
Sorry.
I was going to say, you said that, it's a town kind of, in some ways, has dedicated to fun or sees the importance of fun throughout their year. But you said that the teams for the bed race start training in January for an event that takes place. So it's serious fun, shall we say?
Yeah, it's a tough course, and the teams, probably the top 10 or 15 teams, are hugely competitive. They really want to win, and they usually finish within 10 seconds of each other time-wise. But they're also out there to have fun, and they have a great time being part of the event. They love it. So yeah, I think people have got to take the race itself fairly seriously, because it is a tough course, and you do have to swim across the river at the end of it. So fitness to complete the course is important. There's a local, there's a TV comedian over here, Rory McGrath. He ran in the race in 2008, the program that was made to go against the Beijing Olympics. Mm-hmm. And he said the course did to his body what running a marathon did to it, because he does run marathons. So, there's a 1 in 5 gradient that you've got to run up, pushing the bed with a passenger on. That's quite tough. So if people don't train properly, they're not going to enjoy the race part of it very much at all.
No.
So,
Terrible.
So that's why they start training so early. And, a lot of them are just keen runners, so that they're out there. But they start running the actual course rather than other routes.
Do they train with their beds or no?
Yeah, we see that more and more in May. This year we had a few teams out in April because the weather was pretty good. So we had a few beds running the course in April. I thought, starting a bit early. But yeah, the last few weeks it becomes quite difficult to drive down the high street in the evening.
I'm sure.
Going behind the bed, but everybody loves it, and we toot as we go past and so on. So.
And they have to carry the bed, correct? Or can they wheel it?
It's on wheels.
Okay.
It's on wheels.
You're not monsters. I get it. Yeah.
No, so the dimensions are roughly that of an old school hospital bed, but with bigger wheels now.
I see. Does the bed need to be made?
Or borrowed?
Most of them have, these days, beds made of exotic alloys, so very lightweight aluminium alloys, whereas when I first got involved with the event, most of them were made out of tubular steel, and quite heavy grade tubular steel, so they were very, very heavy. The new beds are pretty light. Most teams own their own, but we do have some bed trading and borrowing goes on, and we've really had to this year, because a number of the teams, when they've gone to get their beds out of storage, they found they're either unusable, or in the case of one that had been stored in somebody's warehouse, completely gone, because he sold the business, cleared the warehouse, and they skipped the bed. So that came as a bit of a disappointment to Harrogate Round Table.
Do they need to make the bed with linens and such? And are you a stickler for like hospital corners?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
like a nice duvet.
Yes.
Actually, when we were on Blue Peter, when we ran around the donut, that whole thing came about because one of the presenters, Connie Hook, was running in the London Marathon. And they thought it would be fun on the Monday after the marathon to wheel her into the studio on a bed. And so we explained and sent photographs of what beds look like. And we thought, yeah, well, maybe that won't work.
Yeah.
But when we did go down to Telly Centre, they did dress the beds up with sheets and duvets and pillows, which all flew off as the round passed.
They would have, yeah. Let alone if you actually got into the river with them.
On the river, no. The beds do have to take off all their decorations before running in the race. And that's because we had a 2-metre tall London double-decker bus went around the course a few years ago and caused absolute carnage. Especially trying to get this thing across the river.
That would be us. That's what we would do.
Yeah, we've had to be a bit boring and make them take all the decorations off.
And then I guess, what does one win for this, other than just bragging rights and possibly getting on top of the local pub?
So bragging rights, kudos. You get a trophy. There are no significant prizes. We used to give a slab of beer or a slab of Coke for the junior teams, but most of the runners are so keen on running that they don't even want a slab of beer anymore. So
that's unfortunate. That's a problem.
And we had some issues with the licensing authorities. So they get a trophy. They get their name on the trophy. That means more to the teams than any prize could give. It's all about local kudos.
I was going to say, they become local celebrities for the year. Do people stop them and sort of congratulate them or threaten to steal
Just
their
bed
title?
to bed, Heidi,
Yeah.
bed to bed.
We don't really do celebrity in Knaresborough. There are some quite famous people live here just because they can walk on the street and nobody bothers them.
Do they participate in the bed race?
Yeah, they turn up in the crowd. We try not to kind of exploit people, but
Of course.
there was an article in the local paper a couple of weeks ago. We have two ex-England soccer as you call it, goalkeepers playing for the local cricket club.
That's perfect.
And these are two of the guys I'm referring to. You know,
Sure.
they can wander around town, they can go in the cafes and things, and nobody bats an eye about it. So, yeah, the Bedries seems themselves celebrities amongst themselves.
Yes.
I think is how we put it. And they do wind each other up about beating each other.
I'm sure. Is there a particular team that tends to win more often than others? Is there one that's like, oh, they're back again? How
For
are
a
we gonna
long
win?
for a long period on the men's teams, it was Harrogate Harriers, a fell running club. And on the ladies' team, it was the Harrogate Squash Club, and they were unbeatable.
Oh,
But the other teams have put a lot of effort in. So we now have teams like GH Brooks, one of our sponsors. They've won the last couple of years. Rip and Runners, Planet Steel. They ran for years and years and years and could never do better than third. And then one year they managed to win it, and that was like the greatest thing ever as far as they were concerned.
finally.
So yeah, it means that much to people.
Is there a secret to posting a good time? Is it the bed? Is it having 3 or 4, quality runners with you?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of a lightweight bed helps, especially going up Castlings. But as some teams have found, the right lightweight materials need to be used. Some teams used aluminium drain pipe type tubing. With the trapped air in it, it was too buoyant, so they would flip over. So they had to overcome that. Fast runners, yeah. The strength to push up Castlings Hill, yeah. A couple of strong swimmers to get you across the river quickly is important, and for them to be out on the other side to help lift the bed out of the river. I think they're the key ingredients, and a certain degree of sheer madness.
Oh, sure.
The best part.
You mentioned that this a few years ago was sort of scheduled to run counter to the Olympics as a something else to.
Yeah, the TV program. Yeah.
Yes. Is there doping in this sport as much as there is in the Olympics? Is there a Russian contingent that's just, trading up blood and stuff?
Yeah, so we did have some East Germans come to visit us.
I knew it. It's always the Germans.
Actually, they are. We have a twin town in Germany, in a town called Bebra, and they had a twin town in East Germany, whose name has just dropped out of my head. But the East German team, or former East German team, got on a coach, drove over to Knaresborough, ran in the bed race. How cool is that?
That's
That
amazing.
is
And
very
they'd actually engineered their bed so they could dismantle it and put it in the luggage compartment of the coach.
Oh,
I
it's
would-
outstanding.
It was fabulous to see that.
Yeah.
It really was great.
And just the customs conversation would be amazing, too.
Yes.
Well, at that time, I guess we were in Schengen, so there wasn't so much customs. We did have a DJ from Leicester who asked if he could be part of the event a few years ago, and he came. And then the dressing of the bed. He included a barrel of beer and was doping the other teams by trying to get them drunk before the
Whatever
so
it takes.
we've had to write that into the rules as well.
Yeah.
Have you had many Americans compete, and how poorly have they fared?
The U.S. Marines have entered
Oh, that's right. Yes,
quite a lot of times, and it's always great to see those guys come down in a military truck and unload their bed and get involved in the event, and then shuttle off and go back up to the base. But they're part of our community. They come to our Remembrance Day parades and things, and it's always great to see them with us. So.
Heidi, we got to do this next year.
I know, we do.
Because nothing would be better than watching me cry as we're going up the hill to the castle.
That would be great.
That
would make me very happy.
I'll make sure we've got a video camera there to capture.
Perfect. That's all we need.
We'll bring our own. That'd be great.
We won't even try to cause so much bedlam that they have to,
no pun intended.
But we probably will without even trying.
Yes. So, where does the sport go from here? Have you tried franchising? Do you think is it building up to something else? Do you have plans in the works for another race?
We don't, because this is about as much as we can manage.
I was gonna say, what else is there?
Back in the 60s and 70s, bed racing was quite a fashionable thing. Lots of universities ran it as student events. There was a company in the States that used to have a trailer that they just loaded beds on and took from town to town to run the events there. Those all seem to have fallen by the wayside. We get the odd one pops up, but we do get people approach us and say, look, we're thinking of doing an event like yours in our town. Will you help us? So we've got child events in the States, in New Zealand, Australia, Hungary, Germany. Sure there's one in the Far East, in Korea or somewhere like that. I've lost track of it.
Yeah,
so yeah, we have sort of child events, and we give them our rules to use as the basis for their own. We talk to them. We give them guidance on some of the challenges that they might face, especially with health and safety legislation in the UK. A lot of people use that as an excuse not to do things. We just see it as an additional bit of paperwork that you've got to complete to demonstrate that you're running a fun event in a safe way.
Sure.
So never let that stop you from doing something.
We could have a whole World Games. We could have a whole bring everyone together.
We could throw that challenge out there, couldn't we?
Yes. Fantastic.
Bed race Olympics.
Right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
The Great Knaresborough Bed Race takes place this Saturday, June 11th in, Knaresborough. For more information, check out their website, bedrace.co.uk. They are on Twitter, where they are at Great Bed Race, and also on Facebook, where they're at facebook.com/bedrace.
You can check us out on all the various socials. Be sure to visit our website, and don't forget to leave us a review.
Today's show is produced by myself and Heidi Hedquist. Our reluctant producers are John Sauvé and Sandy Stone. Our willing producers are Rachel Allen and Randy Jeanette. Our intern is Zach Jackson. This one's for Philippe. Thanks for joining us. Flash, we're coming home.
Nigel, is that you? Are you here, Nigel?